guys, welcome back to Lisa at the Edge. How are you all doing? How are you, Kenny, with the beard?
I am doing very well. Yes, embracing the lockdown.
Yep. And Darren, you've got ready for this podcast. T-shirt, hair done. How are you doing?
I did. For the Lisa at the Edge podcast, I have to make an effort, get a T-shirt on with a collar and do my hair.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it.
I did my hair as well.
And I have changed my hair. Now brunette. Love and life. Thank you. Darren, yes?
First up, let's just quickly say congratulations to Lisa for being awarded Microsoft MVP in the last few days.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Very well deserved.
Yes.
Oh, thanks so much, guys. Yeah, it's this is the 5th. It was awarded on the 1st. I actually just attended my first MVP meeting with Claire Smith for her to walk us through the welcome email and all the things that I still need to look through and do. I was checking out what benefits we get as an MVP. I need to go in and update my profile. I think there's a little bit of an error with that just now, but hopefully by the end of this weekend I will have got through everything and signed up to everything that I need to be signed up to. And yeah, I'm buzzing. It still doesn't feel real. I think it will have sunk in after I've gone through all the material and joined all the groups and stuff. But yeah, I'm super excited. And it means that I'll be able to attend the MVP Summit at the end of the month, which sad that it's not in person, but
hopefully maybe next year we'll be able to go across.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Hopefully I can make 2 years in a row MVP at least.
You will. The fact you're now an MVP, just carry on doing what you're doing, and now you have additional access, additional resources. It'll just amplify, I think, the content that you put out there. So well, good on you. As I said, well deserved, and looking forward to more of that to come.
Thanks. I'll need ideas on how to use my Azure subscription benefits. Do I actually step into that world like properly in a tech way?
Well, we were just talking about how Kenny was doing the demos. You weren't doing the demos, so now's your opportunity. You have an Azure, you have access to an Azure subscription now, right? So get in there.
Yeah. We were just talking about, guys, how myself and Kenny delivered some Azure Stack HCI sessions yesterday to a partner. And to be fair, Kenny has been delivering about 10 presentations and enable sessions a week. And I really do need to step up and start taking one for the team. But I've just been so nervous to present. I think just because hearing Kenny every single session and also just get better and better because he is delivering so many, I was like nervous to present. But my first session went well, but we were just discussing how Kenny then did the next one after because they were in 2 slots. And it was so funny because in the background I was commenting to our colleague. I was like, I should have just presented twice because now I've let Kenny upstage me because Kenny started breaking out the demos, showing people what you could do in Azure Stack HCI and connecting to the portal. So yeah, maybe I need to up my game.
I don't even know what I do or say in these sessions anymore. I just open my mouth and see what comes out. I've been doing them so many times and so often. It's just open the mouth and out comes Azure Stack HCI.
Yeah, well, it's great content, but it's now getting speedy. But yep. I mean, that's just because. On you go, Darren.
Sorry, Lisa. That's. Do you know, I've spotted that with myself actually. So through this whole lockdown, there's been this notion of reducing the time of your meetings, the time of the sessions you deliver, right? But there has to be exceptions to that as well, right? It depends on what content you're trying to deliver. So many times I've tried to squeeze a hybrid. How can you squeeze a Microsoft Azure hybrid session into 1 hour? It's not possible. You have to, so it has to be specific. So I found myself running very fast in some of these sessions. I'm thinking, right, no, we have to think about what the audience we've got, the content we're trying to deliver, and make sure that we get the right message across. So I've spotted for myself. I've been doing that recently. So something I've got to improve on over the next few weeks, definitely.
Yeah, the other thing
about all the new stuff, I just want to tell everybody about it all.
Yeah. The other thing I find sometimes is because I've delivered some of these sessions so many times, I've got to keep reminding myself that it's the first time other people are hearing it. So although I have delivered this over and over and over again, can't skip, can't go fast, can't assume, just take the time and make sure that other people understand it as well, even if it's repeating the same thing over and over and over again for you.
And also keeping that energy high, right? We were talking about this yesterday, Kenny, because you did so many, you were so tired at the end of the day. And it's so true, because we've got to bring that energy and that passion to every session, because and especially like kind of where we were with what me and Kenny do within Dell, we are, talking to our Dell colleagues who have a massive portfolio, have a strong affiliation to VMware, and we're trying to say, hey guys, by the way, did you know we are also just as awesome at our Microsoft Hybrid Cloud platform, and just getting them engaged and up to speed. And it's been brilliant to see the amount of engagement we've got since January. Like Kenny and me have been, and Darren, I can imagine you're the same. We were discussing this, right? It's relentless right now, relentless. But it's great because it's what you want. You want people engaged and you want people to learn, but it is tough. And I'm definitely getting to the point where, like, I am sick of Zoom. I am sick of Teams. I am sick of these four walls. We were just talking about this. I'm in a bit of a rut. Like, I just don't leave the house. I'm so inactive. Darren here's been going on walks. That's why he's looking good. He's looking fresh.
By the way, this recording, is it video recording as well?
Yeah.
Or is it? Oh.
Why?
Okay.
Because it goes to YouTube, Darren. Do you not know we're on YouTube now?
I did, but it's just that I did. Of course, the last one was the same. I was just checking. Right, I'm just checking.
That's why you've got your hair done and your new t-shirt on.
Mm-hmm. It's a Christmas t-shirt, by the way. First time I've worn it. It's March.
I know, because the last time we spoke was Christmas, and I was just saying that as well. Like, that's crazy to me that we are now. I mean, it's been 3 months, and I mean, it is a bit Groundhog Day. It's getting tough. I'm definitely struggling.
We'll be done soon.
We'll be done soon. I feel a bit that I actually went to. So I guess, if you play golf, we're fortunate in Scotland, I think, right? So I'm lucky because I play golf, and we were able to play golf. Down in England and some other countries, I think the golf is, outdoor sport as a whole. Gyms and stuff are closed. So my kind of escape in the past 3 months has been golf, and I feel very fortunate about that. And it's not went unnoticed. The fact that you can just get your clubs, go out with one pal, and go for a walk basically and hit a ball around for 4 hours. It's been good, but I think a lot of other people don't have that, so it's been a bit of a lifesaver for me. But just getting outside, we just need to get outside. It's nearly over, right? It's nearly over. The end is in sight, I think, so we're nearly there.
And also, before it's over, I've got a good stone or more to lose and to get back into being. Yeah. But even just from a health perspective, like, I know I'm so sedentary right now. It's not good. And when I do go outside, so when I get to look after my little brother's puppy or whatever, and I take her out for a walk, I love it. Like, I feel so much better, but it's so hard to realize. I was talking about atomic habits and at my summit presentation and stuff recently, and I think I need to get that back out and read it, because I've lost all my good habits, and I need to work on building them up again.
Yes, and getting back on top of your tasks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, getting back on top of my tasks. So me and Kenny work by a zero inbox and task management within the calendar view. Kenny finally sold. I went on a course and I was sold last year. And my inbox right now is out of control. I mean, it's probably not out of control in terms of the numbers that people who don't run this process would think. But for me, it's like, it's just hard for me to think about where I'm prioritizing my time. And I absolutely need to. And I actually, will probably spend some time this weekend. And I know that sounds really bad and you shouldn't be doing that. But actually, the few weekends I've got up on a Saturday, I've logged off on a Friday because I need to log off. I need to chill out. But I've got up on a Saturday morning and I've actually just spent an hour going through my emails, my tasks, and getting cleaned up. It means I can relax over the weekend, and it gives me a wee head start for Monday, and I can get back into the process. And I think sometimes when you're that kind of time's worth it, whether it's in the weekend or the evening or whatever, it's actually worth it for your mind Monday to Friday, which is a massive chunk of your week.
Yeah, it also means that you can actually take the time to relax over your weekend rather than thinking through the stuff which is rattling around in your head. You take it out of your head, you put it into your tasks, and get on with the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Another massive thing I've been loving, and again, I've fallen out of the habit recently, which is probably why I'm feeling a bit stressed, but is just doing regular brain dumps. So if I've had a really busy day or there's a lot going on before I go to bed, I will literally write out everything that's in my head, from the tiniest thing to the largest thing. Like, I need to pay this bill. I'd really like to look at this on the internet. I need to email this person tomorrow. I need to empty the bin. I need to, whatever. I'll just get it all down. And honestly, you sleep so much better. It's crazy what getting things out and on paper or into a task, etc., does for your head.
Yep.
So this podcast has taken a wild turn, guys.
Yeah.
Wild turn. Lockdown, mental health. But I mean, I think like we all said, it's getting tough now. The light is there. I think it's almost worse. Like, the light's at the end of the tunnel, you can see it, but we're just not quite there. But yeah, I just want to spend some quality time with my friends.
Yeah.
Like,
how are your family going from the vaccination perspective? I'm the last person now in my family. So once I'm done, that's older generation, this generation, and done. My wife Lorraine was done 3 days ago.
Yes.
So just me.
My granny's done. We had her first, getting her second in April. My mum just texted me as we were starting this call. She's just got her first. Bless, the community nurses have come round because poor mum, hey mum, she's broken her ankle. So she's I call her old hop along right now. Which is probably not very nice. Yeah. I went round last night, washed her hair, bless, took care of her, hung up her washing, and all that jazz.
She washed her hair with her feet?
What? No, because she can't balance on one leg and she can't bang her ankle.
I'm joking, of course.
She'll be absolutely cringing when she sees this. So yeah, me and David will probably be another couple of months, me and my brother.
I figure about the same for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, for me, I don't have, I don't have, grands or grandas anymore, unfortunately. But, my aunts and uncles, a few of them have been done, just given the jobs that they do. But other than that, nothing yet. So it's probably be a while. I feel okay anyway about that. I'm happy just to take it when it comes, and that's it.
Yeah.
I will wait in line. It's no problem.
I kind of have in my head that I wouldn't like to travel if that does open up. I wouldn't like to travel until I'm vaccinated. But at the same time, I'm dying for some kind of break. Some kind of break. I feel like right now, when we've taken time off, like when I've taken time off over the last year, it's not been even remotely the same to going on a holiday. Yeah. I've not been able to switch off at the same level, and sort of take a rest. It's been. I
need proper sunshine, like actual heat that comes from the sun. Not the same type of heat that comes from the sun in Scotland.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for that.
You should come to Dundee then. Get out of the grey and misery and over the sunny side.
So true.
And it's grey and miserable today. Actually, it's dry, but I'll take it. Although,
Kenny, there's not really heat. There's sun.
I wouldn't know. I've not been outside for a while.
Yeah. Right, guys. So it was Microsoft Ignite this week. Strange. It was a second Microsoft Ignite. They decided to do two. And we were just discussing that a lot of us were quite busy. We've got things in our backpack that we need to catch up on. But there was a lot of cool announcements. There was Azure Mesh, which looked pretty funky. In fact, probably so funky that it kind of blew my mind and I was confused as to what it was. But basically, it's all about mixed reality, right?
Yeah. Augmented reality, mixed reality. Yes, I was thinking about when I was watching the keynote and Mesh this week. I was thinking, knowing that this podcast was coming up, and thinking, wouldn't it be cool if we could do the podcast in augmented reality, right? Even those those Zoom calls, those Zoom quizzes, that you do with the family would be so much better with some augmented reality. I think would have made them a bit more bearable over lockdown. I think, but there you go.
Yeah.
If only we all had some HoloLenses to hand.
I know.
I've got one. I've got a HoloLens.
Kenny's got a HoloLens. You going to get a new HoloLens, Kenny?
I might hold off for V3.
V3. I'm sorry if you guys can hear this, but
Kenny did go straight into the tech.
So one thing which was interesting at Ignite was Azure Percept. Did anyone have a look at that?
Heard about it, didn't look too much into it. Tell us about it, Kenny.
From a hybrid capability, it's again continuing to extend that edge messaging, bringing workloads back from Azure to the edge to where they need to run. So things like Azure Percept Audio for doing machine learning of audio stuff at the edge, then feeding that into something like an Azure Stack Edge or Azure Stack HCI, things like that. Just continuing to bring out specific hardware capabilities to deliver those edge services as a service. So it's not just saying you can feed your IoT stuff into Azure and off you go. It's saying here are the specific IoT devices which you can buy from a hardware perspective and deliver them as almost like a managed service for IoT there. It's new and it's interesting.
It's new and interesting for sure. There's a lot of it I need to read up on as well. I've caught a few bits of it. So in addition to what you said, even the ability as a user, as an operator, to deploy your wireless networking environment at the edge as well. I believe that it helps with streamlining that whole process as well. So it looks really cool, and I will for sure be looking a little bit more into that. Because I'm sure we've got certainly in the hybrid and edge space, where we spend our time. We've got customers that absolutely have those use cases, across verticals. So IoT, taking AI and machine learning models and being able to deploy them, at the edge wherever the data is being generated. So very cool, and I'm sure we'll hear more about that, more and more about that as the weeks come on.
Yep. It seems to me almost like the evolution of the Azure Vision AI Dev Kit. So I got one of these Vision AI Dev Kits, which is basically a camera which you can push containers into and run machine learning models directly on the camera. So you train your model in Azure, for example, you push the model as a container onto the camera, and then you can do some interesting things on there to only push out images or video streams which meet certain criteria, for example, and do the processing on the camera itself. And that was a dev kit. So it feels to me like this is the production evolution of that.
Yeah, it was very cool that actually those little devices. I had a loaner one for a few months. I just did a quick little demo. I've got some foxes, some wild animals that pass through my garden every night, and I thought, wonder how many, So I created a little basic custom image, ML app, containerized it, run it on the little device, so the camera was actually recording live. And then any time there was a fox had passed or a squirrel was chewing my bin to bits, then, I could tell how many of them were and I could flag a little alert. So this definitely is an evolution of that. But testament as well, the point I'm trying to make there is how easy it is, not just from a devices perspective, but as from you don't have to be an app dev or, a data scientist to create some of these basic applications to really show lots of value from data that you've got that might just be, archived and not getting the innovation or the intelligence out of it that you should be or could be.
I think one thing that really strikes me as all these different edge capabilities keep coming out is that we really need to get some more clarity around where everything should be used and what for. Because we now have Azure Stack Hub, Azure Stack HCI, Azure Stack Edge, Azure Percept, Azure Edge Zones. We have Azure Arc there, which does a bunch of things. We have the Azure Connect Developer Kit. We have the Azure Vision AI Developer Kit. All of these things have major overlaps there and do some similar things and lots of differentiated things as well. And I don't know that there's any one-stop shop to see where each of these things necessarily fits and where they should be targeted and how they should interact as well.
Yeah, you're right. That I don't believe there is that one-stop shop. it's definitely feedback we've heard at Microsoft. I hear it from our customers, only just as recent as this week, doing a session just on the Azure Stack family with Arc, for example, and there's lots within just that ecosystem. So we are, we hear that feedback. We want to simplify it, make it easy for our customers and partners, of course, to understand and realize what solution or combinations of solutions are right for them. But it will be, I think choice is good, but and that's what it's about, right? It's about taking this innovation of Azure to wherever. But we'll continue to try and simplify that for sure.
I think just having
it's a learning curve for me. I spend all day every day in this domain, right? And I'm learning something new every day. So I put myself in our customers or partners' shoes, then of course I empathize with that. So there'll be more of that to come, I'm sure.
Yeah. I agree. Like, choice is good, and also it's part of innovating, right? Putting these things out there and seeing if you can attract those people who are maybe not devs, that are more of the, and Microsoft's huge on that right now, the citizen dev with Power Platform, etc. So all this choice does allow you to reach people that you might not have reached before. But I think it is as we progress, it's getting to the point where there is overlaps for all of these products, and I think that is good. But I think it needs to be like, this product is, where does it shine? What's its key cases? But yes, it can do X, Y, and Z, and it can do this, but you shouldn't. And sort of overlap them that way, so you can just pull out the key features and benefits and use cases for each one, and then identify how they overlap. But I mean, it's part of also where we are in the industry right now as well. Everything's so fast paced. Everything is about innovation and getting things out and trying things. That I imagine this kind of situation is here to stay for a little while. And
Yeah.
I
mean, it was all so simple when everything just lived inside Azure, and you could say, here's the service, it runs inside Azure, and this is what it's for, and this is what you can do with it. Very simple when everything was tightly coupled there from a management workload and data center perspective. We're now in this realm of decoupling Azure from Azure, as I call it, and splitting out the management plane, the workloads, the infrastructure that runs it, and really being able to pick and choose where each of those things lives, depending on what your use case is. The management plane could be inside Azure Stack Hub. It could be in Azure. The workload could be running in Azure. It could be running in AKS, for example, on Azure Stack HCI. And the infrastructure could be Azure Stack HCI, Azure Stack Edge, whatever. All these things are choices now, and how they interplay together and feed into each other. I think some guidance there would be really helpful, I think, from the community perspective, because right now what we have is, here are the capabilities, what do you want to do with it, rather than here are the capabilities and here are some bounds that you can work within and some outcomes from that. I think that's what we're missing just now.
I said that a few podcasts ago, actually, when I think near the early days. I think the problem with where we are now is actually the capabilities there. So before, we maybe had less options, less products, less capability, and it was very, very clear. But that was potentially limiting because people couldn't think out of the box. Now we have so much capability. Actually, the limiting factor is our ability to tap into that and use it. And I think that whilst, yes, some extra clear guidance would be useful, if you really think about it, I think that from a customer perspective, or, the other side, I think the industry has always been very bad at being like, here is my plan and here is my requirements. Even just think about DR scenarios and how often people would have them but not test them and all this kind of stuff. I think, and the thing is because it's hard, right? It's hard to sit down, look at your technical debt, look at your infrastructure that you have now, think about where the business is going, and think about the fact that IT has been usually quite separate from the business, and now we're asking them to work closer together. I think the work that needs put in to sit down, look at what you have, what you need, and where you're going is a lot. And then there's this drive to use these technologies, and I seem like a rush to get in and use them. And I think I think all round there is an evolution for us all to go through, in terms of how we IT procurement cycles and all that stuff. I think that is going to need to dramatically change over the next few years to allow everyone to take advantage of the capability that's available.
Yeah, I agree. I think on this topic, where I accept, I kind of acknowledge that, there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work to do to simplify this, but that work is already started, right? There's already some materials out there. If I think just, so I've recently had the pleasure of contributing to some of the documentation that goes into the Azure well-architected framework stuff for hybrid, right? So there's the cloud adoption framework from a Microsoft perspective here, I'm speaking, of course. So we have the cloud adoption framework to help customers and partners on that cloud journey. Hybrid very much plays a part of that. So there's some excellent content within that alone. Then if, when the decision is made, or it's clear that there's a hybrid strategy at our customers and partners, then we have materials on well-architected frameworks within Azure, with Azure Stack HCI, with Hub, with Arc, with the IoT suite, and that will continue to evolve as well. So from a content perspective, again, we need to simplify it for sure. We'll continue to do that. There is content out there. By the way, content is excellent. Shout out to all the content creators out there, because it takes a lot of time, and usually they do it for free. Lots of cool stuff, including this podcast, Lisa. But one thing on the, again, if anyone's watching or listening to this and thinking, well, hybrid seems to be something, the kind of journey I want to go on, it is a bit complicated, don't quite understand it, then reach out to Microsoft, reach out to there is support there for you. We don't want customers and partners and organizations to feel like they're alone on this journey. Absolutely not, right? There's resource from me and my team, for example, who do this all day, every day. And Kenny, Lisa, I know that you guys are the same at Dell. And there's other resource and help and support out there. So we're getting there. It's a good place to be. I love.
Yes. And I speak from a position of excitement, and that's all. Definitely. I'm not having a go. I'm just saying this is a great place to be, and it seems there are new capabilities and products coming out in this space all the time. Like on Azure Arc, for example, there was Azure Arc for machine learning just announced at Ignite this week as well. So that continues to expand that portfolio of capabilities on Arc there. And you're right, it's a continuous learning curve.
Hybrid is massive right now when you think about it. All the like you say, new services coming to Azure Arc. Everyone's banging on about the edge, multi-cloud, which we'll just ignore. Hybrid, the edge, it's huge right now. That, and I think the whole citizen developer theme from Microsoft with Power Platforms. I think those are the two key sort of big trends right now, and it is very exciting.
From a Power Platform perspective, we can say from our team's perspective that's been transformational to just how we run our business and how we run our team and our interactions throughout into the wider Dell organization. We use many of the features within the Power Platform across Power Automate, Power BI, and other tools and features within there, all integrated through teams with message cards and forms for different ingest mechanisms and things there. The Power Platform is a daily driver for us.
Yeah, Kenny, you've done wonders with that. I absolutely need to get more involved. I need time set aside to learn and get involved with that, because it's so, like, from what you and some others have managed to do, it's so powerful. And I love it.
I wouldn't mind seeing some of that myself, actually, Kenny. Outside this one, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Yeah, I completely agree. It's hugely powerful. Even just a bit of insight into some of the motions. So I work in the global black belt organization within Microsoft, focused on the hybrid domain. We have other domains like cloud native, like IoT, like high performance compute, and we naturally have been close to the IoT guys, for example, who kind of a lot of the kind of use cases. So we provide the infrastructure. We look after the infrastructure services, I guess, that their solutions run on. And over the past few months, and certainly with the evolution of AKS on Azure Stack HCI, for example, Azure Arc for Kubernetes, and that whole app dev piece, we've become, our team's getting closer, even closer to the cloud native team. So lots of value comes from that as well. So that's it's not just about hybrid. Hybrid is it encompasses pretty much everything within the kind of the cloud and IT pro ecosystem.
We were talking about that yesterday, weren't we, Kenny, about Azure Stack HCI and how it's like the perfect blend of if you've got workloads that need to and will remain on-prem, but you want to modernize the infrastructure that they sit on, move to an HCI, gain some operational efficiencies, but then you also want to run Kubernetes and use AKS. Like the platform can do both. And I think that's so powerful.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I think that more and more people are seeing that hybrid isn't like a transient point. It's not a temporary state on the journey to the public cloud. It's an end state for pretty much everyone. There will be workloads that run in the public cloud and workloads that run in a customer data center and then out at the edge as well, at the far edge, and bringing consistency across those is really the goal here. And hybrid isn't an adjunct to an Azure strategy. It's just a core part of any Azure strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when I think the initial thoughts that come to mind when people say that they have a cloud first strategy now will change as well, because it's a cloud first strategy is an operating model. It's not a location. And that's, I mean, that couldn't be more true with the Azure Stack portfolio. It's I love it. It's
honestly, I think it's one of the most interesting places to work in IT just now, because some of the most interesting conversations you can have with people are around, first of all, infrastructure modernization. So coming to a hyper-converged infrastructure on premises and modernizing how you do IT, that alone is an interesting thing. Public cloud is an interesting conversation. So having that cloud native conversation and talking about how cloud can transform how they do things as well and bring new capabilities that they've never had before. And then that nexus point is hybrid and being able to bring those two together, those two interesting conversations together in one place. And Azure Stack HCI really blends that really nicely.
Yeah. And I think it'll help people make the transition to having those conversations a little bit easier as well. Whereas Hub was like way out there. It was Azure in your data center, like pretty niche. Azure Stack HCI really does blend the worlds quite nicely. And I think it will enable people to wrap their heads around either having the conversations or also starting to make that move in the journey and start to think about, okay, so where should my workloads live? What can I put in Azure? What do I want to keep on-prem? And having that consistency across how you manage both of them is just beautiful.
Yeah, I think the bar to entry is lower to HCI than it maybe was with Hub, right? Hub, like you said, is niche. It is, it's pretty amazing what Hub is when you think about the engineering effort that goes into that.
Yes.
And that means that, we have to be sure that, when customers and partners are choosing Azure Stack Hub, that it's the right solution for what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Stack HCI, on the other hand, is pretty amazing what it's doing as well. However, I think less of a complex beast, I guess, under the hood. So the bar to entry is lower, from a physical SKU perspective, but also from a connection to Azure and how we consume cloud services, I guess, and when that kind of hybrid, the kind of hybrid architecture across both. So, we're seeing, like you said, Lisa, we're extremely busy at the moment, which is a good thing, and it's all Stack HCI with Arc, and that's great.
And I think, again, the reason why we're so busy and the reason why it is such a great product is the breadth of use cases that it can handle. We've mentioned this before, but being able to do 2-node switchless robo use cases right up to your most performant applications is a wide breadth again. And I think that also makes it very interesting and accessible, right? Accessible for people who wouldn't have been able to sort of utilize Hub. And I like that aspect about it as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that switchless offering for those remote edge sites, remote branch offices, for example. I mean, and don't get me wrong, right? That's the kind of small SKU, small scale that we can start at with Stack HCI, and we can grow enterprise scale, right? But for that, having that manager, that single kind of operational view and operational inventory, I guess, of all your clusters, no matter where they are, having edge sites, branch offices that maybe don't have much other infrastructure in them or much space. For example, we can have 2, 3, 4 node clusters switchless, and have visibility of that from the Azure portal, for example, and multiple of those branch sites, it starts to become very compelling, and and everything in between as well.
Yeah.
So from branch sites, edge locations, all the way up to your data center modernization efforts in the large enterprises.
Yep.
And I think the you mentioned it there, like the view and ability to manage is, like you said, you can view and manage these from the Azure portal, but also you can view and manage them from Windows Admin Center, if that's what you're used to. And within Windows Admin Center, you can actually configure Azure services. And then if you go with Dell, you will get our OpenManage integration with Windows Admin Center. So within there, you can view everything from the hardware health right the way up to operating systems, right the way up to cloud services. And that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but even more importantly, you get the full stack lifecycle management capabilities built in there, so that within 3/4 clicks or so, you can initiate and watch and stand back and let happen a full stack cluster aware update from everything from the hardware updates through to the Microsoft updates. And it will do it in a cluster aware manner, moving through the infrastructure without any workload downtime at all, which is just massive.
And that's what I really love about Dell's approach to that, actually, is because if we take into account everything that we've just spoken about bringing the two worlds together, we don't want it to seem like night and day. We don't want customers to be like, I'm in Azure, I'm doing my thing, I'm on Azure Stack HCI, and I've got all these updates and I've got this infrastructure to take care of. We don't want it to be night and day. We want it, customers want this and are demanding this anyway from all of their IT infrastructure environments, their hardware to everything. They want it to be seamless. They want it to, the things that should be taken care of should be taken care of. We were just discussing this the other day, actually, that I think customers, when it comes to infrastructure, obviously there are outlier cases that this isn't true, but they almost expect it to work. Like if you buy an HCI platform from Dell, we're like HCI leaders, etc. They're almost not, they are interested. They want to know it works. They want to know the hardware configurations and bells and whistles, but they're like, no, we are coming to you because you're HCI experts and we expect it to work. What we want you to help us with is, what can we do with this? So, and I think this is a really interesting space that's happening right now as well. And I think it's so important to make sure that those two interactions on-prem and in the cloud do not seem like night and day, and we bring those closer and closer together.
I think the other interesting thing is that a lot of the advocates for Azure Stack HCI, as was in the past, and people who have been on this Storage Spaces Direct journey, Windows Server Software Defined, and all through that, are really typically deep techies that love fiddling and love tweaking things and playing and breaking and feeding back and doing all that good stuff. I think what we're seeing more and more with the new Azure Stack HCI is people wanting to buy outcomes. So as it scales to a more mature enterprise product, we're really looking at the outcomes rather than spending all your time playing in the guts. And I totally get that that's what some people love. But the outcome-based approach is really the way to scale this and make it enterprise ready, rather than just a fun thing to play with and deploy.
Yeah, but at the same time, you've still got all that Windows Admin Center that you're used to. At least you can use that.
Yeah, and that I see that. Right, completely agree with all that. I'm frantically kind of nodding away there while we both of you are talking. But yeah, like I said, we kind of naturally, as a hybrid person, tend to speak to the infrastructure people, right? And we can talk about the plumbing and the what goes on under the hood of Azure Stack HCI all day long. I'm an infrastructure guy at the end of the day as well. But then there's that cross into the cloud native piece, right? Those app devs, they just want their Kubernetes environment to be consistent with what we've got in Azure, and that's where Stack HCI being delivered as an Azure subscription service becomes hugely valuable, right? And it's that coming together again of the app dev and the IT pro, and really, really showing a consistent, kind of compelling, a real hybrid solution.
Yeah. So I also love that it kind of forces to bring them together, because I'm all about that. I'm all about the fact that the technical side of it and the business need to work closer together. Like if you're going to harness the capability of cloud and you're going to get ahead, you absolutely need to bring your technical team into your business decisions, and the technical team need to get a more business minded frame of mind. Not saying that they don't, but they need to be brought closer together. And again, when it comes to IT infrastructure people and devs, they need to come together. And there's the whole IT ops space and movement right now, which makes that possible. And I think the quicker we can do that and the better people can come together, the more you're going to get out of any infrastructure cloud strategy.
Definitely. So, Ignite, right? So going back to, I kind of glossed over it earlier on. I think, did I mention that the Azure Arc Jumpstart material is now has a YouTube channel?
No, tell us about that.
Worth a plug here. So Azure Arc Jumpstart is a program, essentially a bunch of material that was created by some of our cloud solutions architects within Microsoft, and it's evolved massively, and there's lots of great content on there. So it's actually now embedded into, I believe, the Microsoft Docs somewhere. But it gives you essentially an easy way to jumpstart your usage of Azure Arc across all the pillars of Arc. So Arc enabled servers, Arc for Kubernetes, Arc data services on any infrastructure anywhere. Our friend Matt McSpirit has worked with that team to work on AKS on HCI Jumpstart scenario, so that's in there now as well. So there's an Azure Arc Jumpstart website, which I believe is azurearcjumpstart.io, but it's also part of the Microsoft documentation as well. However, just this week they have released a YouTube channel. So if you have a search on YouTube for Azure Arc Jumpstart, subscribe to the channel. Lots of great content there. So if you're interested in getting on that cloud journey, that Azure journey early, want to take advantage of existing investments on-prem, maybe in VMware, maybe on Hyper-V, even better if it's Azure Stack HCI, that's the content for you. It makes it so easy, follow along, and I think it's definitely worth a shout out this week. There's a lot of effort going into that, and that will continue to evolve over time as well. So go there, subscribe, and give us some feedback.
Love it. I'll put these links in the show notes as well, but I've just Googled and found it. Looks great. So I shall subscribe. Awesome. Well, guys, we're coming to the top of the hour. I think what we need to do is make sure that it's not 3 months until the next episode. So let's get one booked in for April or May, maybe May, and make sure that we don't leave it as long next time.
We're getting closer to being able to do these in person.
Oh, I know.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Cannot wait for that to happen.
Yes, that will be good.
Yes, and have actual beers rather than virtual beers. Although we won't drink and record. We'll do that afterwards.
Okay. If we had HoloLens with mesh, we could have beers, literal augmented virtual beers.
Well, go and buy yourself HoloLenses then.
I think what we need to do is someone needs to gift us. Actually,
on that, I don't think it's just HoloLens, right? It supports other devices as well. But I don't have any of them, so I'm out. I need to go and make an investment.
Go buy a Dell Visor mixed reality, Windows mixed reality device then.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you send me a discount through, Kenny, I will get on that.
I can do that.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Okay, guys. Well, as always, it has been a pleasure to have you on. And we won't leave it as long next time. And we'll get something in the diaries. But until then, take care of yourselves. We're getting there. We'll be released into the wild soon.
Always a pleasure. Take care, guys.
Thanks for having us.
See you later.